David, I have a copy of the article you wrote called How to Find a Mentor. Now, why did you write this article?
Well, Steve, for a long time, I've always been interested in, how we get better at things. And things in life I've wanted to do that I've had trouble with, it's caused me to seek answers. Like, hey, how can I get better at this? It's frustrating not having the kind of job I like, not having a girlfriend in my life. How do you do these things? How do you have things that you really want? So it's been a long-term interest of mine to find out, how we do things. And I commonly ask other people about, hey, how they're doing in things. Well, one of the most interesting observations I made, I'll talk to one of my single friends, a woman I know, for example, and I'll say, well, how's it going, with your looking for a relationship? And for like 8 years, she hasn't had a relationship. So, well, how's it going? Oh, I'll keep trying, I didn't meet anyone at the dance. Maybe I'll meet them at the church, but maybe I'll meet them at another dance. And I sometimes ask, I'm kind of impelled to ask, well, so what about all the people you know who already have successful relationships that you're meeting with and discussing about these things so you can learn from that? Aren't you putting that to use? But the idea is they must not even be meeting these kinds of people. So I'm thinking, a lot of people, including myself, we don't have mentors. We're not actively seeking out those people who are already in a state of comfortable success and easy achievement in something that we can learn from. So I thought, this is a missing link. It has been for my life. So in a lot of the ideas I came across on how to find a mentor and how to build a mentor relationship, and a lot of the benefits I've had in life from having a mentor, I thought, what? This can be useful information to other people. So that was why I wrote the article.
Well, why do you think you need a mentor when there's so many school classes you can take or find books on the topics that you're interested in? Why do you need a mentor?
Well, Steve, you're sure right, because there are some people whose learning styles are such that when they take a book, they could read the book and put the information into action and get good results. But a lot of people have learning styles that are not that way. We can have the book learning, but sometimes we don't have the action learning. In the doingness of it, in the practical steps we take, in the action steps, there might be some missing links there in how do you take the written paragraph on what to do, to actually doing it, especially if you had a little bit of pain or frustration in the activity realm of it. You tend to kind of withdraw or avoid doing that thing. Well, when you have a mentor, you can discuss the problems you had while you are trying to put into action these things, and they can help you, guide you back, maybe have you do baby steps. They can give you confidence and encouragement, maybe to start out small, or give you a few little strategies or tips on what might work another way. And I'd like to make a positive comment about the book learning and schools and our education too. It works in good complement, in good synergy with having a mentor. In another article I wrote about the 4 pillars of success, where I mentioned the success library, that's like your book learning. Then you have a mentor, a coach, and a buddy coach. Well, the mentor is someone skilled, very skilled, or highly experienced in something you want to learn. The coach is somebody who can help you take what you learn from the mentor and really analyze any area that you're balking at taking action and work with you very regularly on this. Then the buddy coach is just your friends, your colleagues, your peers, who you can meet with and discuss these ideas or work together and put them into action. And then the success library, the information. So the books are important, but I find that so many people read a book on how to find the love of their life, how to find the job they love, but they still don't have that. Whereas if they had a mentor, that would be a powerful complement to the book learning.
Okay, so you mentioned a little bit about what is a mentor, but somebody watching this, they may not have a very clear idea as to what a mentor is. So could you clarify that?
Steve, a mentor, it originally comes from Greek mythology. In the story of Ulysses, or the Odyssey, Mentor was the name of the teacher of Telemachus, who was Odysseus' son. And Odysseus had a mentor stay with his son that was just born when he went off for 20 years to fight in the Trojan Wars. So mentor in the story, the Iliad, he was a teacher, a counselor, a wise person who would help Telemachus along. And that's where the origin of the word mentor. And people who know the story, it could have been easy for Telemachus to kind of get into trouble because even at age 20, it had been still 20 years before Ulysses came back. They had all these other guys that wanted to become king of Ithaca and marry Penelope, his mother. Well, he was having difficulty with this, and it could have caused him to want to fight them or kill them or get killed. But mentor advised him to keep it cool, even advised him to go out to some of the neighboring islands and to see if there was any word of his father, Ulysses. So that's where it comes from. And a mentor is someone, Steve, who is more experienced, more educated in some area than you are. He's someone who you can learn from. He can be a teacher, a trainer. Then you as a student under the mentor, you'd be like the mentee or a protege or a student or something like this.
Okay. Well, how would I find a mentor? Where do I look for that?
You first decide something that you want to accomplish. You pick out the area that you want to excel in, and then you contact people who are skilled in that area, and you might even ask them, hey, who do you know who is really, really good at this, and can I have their contact information, or are you pretty good at this? I'm looking for someone who can teach me, someone who can train me on this subject. You can look in the yellow pages, you can do a Google search, but the idea is you just start asking around.
Okay. Should I be looking for some sort of credentials that the mentor should have?
Well, I'll tell you, one of our neighbors is 10 years old, and he's teaching me how to use my computer. So, the idea on a mentor, all he has to do is has to be someone who knows more than you do, really. Now, on some of the more detailed subjects of your life, how to be a good investor, which I'm collecting mentors on in that, for example, and other things in life, like in my playing the piano, I have some mentors there as well, where you're looking for people who you admire, who you respect, and people that you can get along with, that you feel like you're teachable by these people, and that have a kind of a style about the way they interact with you that's consistent with your learning style, so that as you are meeting with them, it's going to be productive, and somebody who likes you as well, so they're going to get something out of it too.
What if time is an issue with the mentor? They like to do it, but they're reluctant about the time involved.
Find another mentor. Yeah, or just say, look, I'm so eager to learn. How about just 10 minutes? And also, if you feel like you have something of value to offer, then you're going to be more inclined to have a bit more confidence when you ask the mentor for help. Because sometimes we feel like somebody older, wiser, more experienced, greater, richer, more powerful, anything you look at it, than us. Sometimes we feel intimidated in asking for help or guidance. But if we were to go into our own lives and identify the value we have in the insights we've had, the experience we've had, we might have certain unique insights because we've had experiences that our mentor has not had. We might have things that can offer our mentor, and if we are aware of this, then in our own attitude, in even speaking with the mentor the first time, the idea about the time thing might not come up if he or she senses that we are a person of value, or that we are a person confident that we have something to bring to the table too.
Well, quite often money is an issue with people. What if I find the person I want to mentor me, but they're asking for too much money? What then?
Well, the first overall thing, whenever I think of education or coaching or training and the fees or the payment connected with that, I always go to the saying, if you think that education is expensive, try ignorance. Because in my stock market investing, my ignorance cost me, cost me a lot more than if I would have gotten better educated. But here's the other thing. There are always mentors who are retired. They're advanced in their career. They made enough money so that that's no longer the key thing. Now they're interested in doing some good for somebody else, to pass it on to somebody else. And so I would say look for the people who don't really require the money, or find something you can trade or barter with too if you don't have the money for it, or work out some type of a graduated scale, because if it's something that you're going to actually get very good at, that you're going to be able to make money at, how about saying, look, once I start producing the cash flow from this, can I start paying you back more than something like this?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I'm interviewing a mentor or having a discussion with them, what kinds of factors should I keep in my mind with regard to certain kinds of questions I should be asking?
Well, the first area of questions will be to determine if the relationship is fitting. If you like them, if they like you, and living close by, if it's going to be a person-to-person mentorship, that's going to be an issue. So the first types of questions are questions about each other. What got you into this field? Do you have other proteges or students that you work with? Things like this, to get a feel for the idea. Hey, is this something that this person is comfortable doing? And once you find the person that, okay, you've got a good match for a relationship here, now you're going to be asking a very key question is what books do you recommend that I study? Because a mentor may have studied 100, 1,000 books, and he'll know about 2 or 3 or 4 of the time-proven classics that maybe even his mentor taught him. And so you can save a lot of time. Instead of reading 100 books that might work, a mentor might say, David, read this book, then read this book, and then come back to me. So what books you might, or what classes you might take. And the other kinds of questions are going to be, you'll identify these questions as time goes on with your relationship, but fundamentally you're going to want to know, hey, what are the skills I'm going to have to learn? What is an outline of skills that I'm going to have to possess in order to be successful in this? And exactly how do I acquire these kinds of skills, and how did you acquire these skills? Another key area is what happens when you get stuck? What happens when you get discouraged? What are some of the strategies for dealing with some of the natural or inherent pitfalls or weaknesses that might be in this particular field?
All right, in the article you mentioned taking notes and creating an ongoing journal or manual. Now, based on your training from the mentor, what kind of information would you want to be recording in this manual?
Much of it, of what I had just mentioned, what are some of the key skills you're going to need. So you'll be building a manual almost like writing your own textbook. Each little chapter is going to be a certain skill that you're going to need. You'll be adding new questions that you're going to ask for the next week, for example. And also, when you are taking notes and making a journal, keep in mind that as this journal develops and as you become more competent in this area, you can use this journal as a manual or book that then you can market. So do it with the idea in mind that, hey, these notes you're going to take are going to make you profit, because now you at some point will be able to be a mentor. You can teach somebody this subject the more competent you become. And I advise too to give a little percentage of the profits you make from this manual to your mentor, because this is where the original inspiration and knowledge came from.
You talk about the importance of having a win-win relationship with the mentor. Now, how do you develop this kind of win-win relationship?
Well, Steve, there's an exercise I do that really has changed my life, and it's called the gold mine exercise. And basically, it's you sit down with yourself, or I like to do it with other people, and simply ask yourself, what is my value? What are some of the golden nuggets of my experience? What value do I have to offer others? What are some of my insights, skills, or ideas that I have that I might be able to share with others that might be of value? So when you are cognizant and appreciative and aware of the value you have, then the more value you're going to feel you can give to your mentor and to other people.
Now, could you go just a little bit more in depth as to what this gold mine exercise is?
You will, first of all, it's something that I plan to do my whole life long, because the more gold you find, the better you get at finding it. And pretty soon you hit not only just big nuggets, you hit all mother loads of insights and whole patterns of perceptions and new perspectives, new paradigms, new ways of seeing things. Also, the more that you do this gold mine exercise, and again, you're just doing it in a sense of question and answer, what are some of the most valuable things I've learned? What are some of my happiest experiences? You're going to find the more you do it with yourself, the more value that you can see in other people. And this is going to allow you to have better relationships with other people. It will allow you to appreciate people more. And as you do this ongoing with yourself, the more gold or the more value that you're bringing to the marketplace, even in terms of yourself, your ideas, or your self-confidence, or your a healthy self-image, the easier it's going to be for you to feel like that you are deserving of getting support and help from teachers or mentors.
How much of a guarantee would you say having a mentor is for being successful in life?
Well, first, Steve, there are no guarantees in life about anything. So as far as, sure, when you have a mentor, your confidence, it should be a boost to your confidence. And as you become more skilled in a few practical things and you start seeing tangible results, oh my goodness, all the more confidence you're going to have. But there are no guarantees. We have to work hard in life. In fact, I've heard this quote that the main sometimes the difference between try and triumph is just a little umph. So as they say, sometimes it's hard work. There are people that don't need a mentor. They just, if they work hard enough, they can find a way. And as I said before, sometimes people just read a book on it, But you have to put into application and you have to put into action what the mentor is teaching you, and you have to review what you're doing and allow yourself to get feedback, constructive criticism. And you can't take it personally if the mentor says, "Oh, David, that's great, but you did it completely backwards for the past 3 weeks." You have to say, "Oh, I did? Okay. Well, I'll try it again now." And so you have to have a bit of a humbling. You have to be willing to be humble for the purpose of growing.
Now, if the mentor teaches me all he knows, including his trade secrets or his secrets of success, wouldn't he fear that I'll be smarter than he is and I'll go out and take away or mosey into his business avenue and he'll lose possible income streams? So wouldn't a mentor want to keep his best strategies for success a secret and only teach you some of the general strategies?
Well, if he did, then that's not the mentor for me. I can just say, "Hey, thank you," and I'll find another mentor. I want a mentor who wants to teach me the best, and I want a mentor who would dance with joy when his proteges surpass him. There's another way of getting around this too, Steve. For example, if you wanted to build a photography business, for example, and when we're here in Seattle, Washington, you could call somebody in Pittsburgh, and they could be your mentor. Because if they're going to deal locally with their people, the chances are you're not going to, be in competition with them. So that's one way of doing it. But the idea that they might fear competition, See, that's not abundance consciousness, and that's not, that's a little bit of a scarcity consciousness. And to really go in life, big places, and to have healthy relationships, you want to work with people who feel safe and secure that in no way you are a threat to their success. And furthermore, if you're going to be compensating this mentor, maybe, as I said, if you can sell your manual and give him a percent, or refer him more students that can maybe pay him for training, or when you when you expand and build on his reputation by giving him credit to giving him or her credit when people ask you, well, David, this is great. How did you learn how to do this? Well, I learned from Joe over here, and by the way, he is outstanding, and anyone who wants to learn, hey, go see Joe. I really, really respect him. So these are ways that you can build up the mentor, and a mentor who understands the really, really big picture is going to see, hey, we're only on this planet for a short time, and the competitive aspect, though, can be invigorating in sports and games and things like this. In the business world, more of a healthy cooperation rather than an embittered competition, I think makes everybody just a little bit happier.
Life is accelerating so fast. We have technology that's advancing, procedures are in a constant state of change. Wouldn't the information from the mentor be outdated if I found a mentor that was maybe more advanced in years? So should I, with that in mind, should I be looking for a younger mentor who is more current with the latest technology?
Well, either way, generally, any teacher is better than no teacher. Any mentor is better than no teacher. So start with whatever mentor you can begin with. Certainly in fields of dentistry, high-tech computers and all this, every month, every day there are new developments. However, in most of life's professions and activities, there are fundamentals, there are principles that are time-proven. How we relate to people, how we deal with our successes and how we deal with our failures, how we treat other people and all these kinds of things. So no matter how outdated your mentor might be in some of the current technology, there is value that you can learn from your mentor in terms of the personal aspect of the whole field.
Now, in your video talk about the 4 pillars of success, you mentioned the mentor and the coach. If the mentor can teach me how to be successful, why would I need a coach? Couldn't the mentor also serve as a coach to me?
Absolutely. And for a lot of people, they consider their mentor, their coach also. And this can be synonymous. In a lot of the coach training, there are outstanding skills that coaches have when they can ask questions that can just, like laser fine-tune exactly where your difficulty is. So there are some very highly specialized life coaches who can just really, really, complement and augment your success that you're having, with your mentor. But like I say, many people just have a mentor and they don't need a coach, and many people have coaches and they don't have or need a mentor. But having both is probably your greatest probability for success.
Well, let's see if we could get a little specific now. So let's take the example of your life. Do you have an example of how a mentor has helped you personally?
Yes, Mr. Crawford. Yourself there, even though you're not in the camera, your voice is, you have been a mentor to my weight loss. So I'm at 153. I started out at 175. And so my good neighbor Steve, who I admire so much, is a strong young man, and he is at like 128 or so. Or what is your weight?
It's around, it fluctuates, it's 128, 130, something like that.
Well, in my weight loss, you were definitely my mentor. Now, in my piano playing, I watch videos of the great pianists. And I learned particularly, in fact, one of my recordings is a Scriabin etude, opus, I think I wrote it down here, opus 8, number 12. Now, Vladimir Horowitz, one of the greatest pianists of all time, he has a recording of that on YouTube. Of course, I think he has over, 60 million hits. On mine, I think it's about 35. But when I watch his video, I learned a very specific technique of quickly drawing my hands away, playing when the playing is very fast, in order that I can be prepared to quickly go to the next chord, because that piece has a lot of loud chords. So I learned, even though Horowitz has long since gone from this earth, just from his videos, I have learned from him, and a couple others too. When I was in high school and played tennis, I had a tennis instructor who served as a great coach, helped me become very consistent. I was too erratic, too emotional as well. So he helped me kind of be a little bit more balanced at that, and that was really a great help.
Now, in terms of mentors, should you just have one, or could you have more than one? How do the numbers work with this?
You can have, I think that it's good to start out with one mentor, so you can get kind of stable and focused and learn a few particular skills and learn them well, so that you can get a lot of application and a lot of feedback and tangible results on particular skills from one mentor. But there's value in having more than one, because some mentors, they all come from a slightly different perspective, and some perspectives might be actually more helpful to you than others. Some might be a little bit eccentric in some other parts of life, but those aren't the characteristics that you want to adopt or embrace, and that might be a turnoff to you. And others might have characteristics that you really admire, which might even draw you closer to wanting to get trained by them. And there's something I forgot to mention about my own mentors. And I did an internet search on mentors and found that, I didn't know this, but that the actor Anthony Hopkins, his mentor was Laurence Olivier. And I thought, isn't that interesting? And then also Lance Armstrong, the famous bicycle racer, he had a mentor named Eddie Merckx. Now Eddie Merckx was a 5 times Tour de France winner, and of course Lance Armstrong a 7 times. So I thought that was interesting about how consistent the student was with the mentor there, and also that Alexander the Great, Aristotle was his mentor. Then in the movie, in Star Wars movie, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi was the mentor for Luke Skywalker. So these are some kind of interesting, more famous examples. But to benefit from mentors, you sure do not need to ever become a famous person, nor do you need somebody who has a big name to be your mentor. It's just somebody who can help, who knows more than you, and who can help you get a little bit further toward where you want to go.
Well, this has been very helpful, David. Thank you for this interview.
Well, Steve, thank you, and I also want to say thank you for your time and your generosity. You've done a lot for me, and thanks again for being a mentor in my weight loss. And also, Steve, you have been a mentor for me and a kind of a coach as well in my stock market investing, because you've helped me to think more in the long term and to not get too emotionally, upset if stocks are down in the short term. We just wait it out and they come right back up. And so you've been a wonderful friend and a wonderful neighbor, and I want to thank you for doing this interview format. I've enjoyed it very, very much with you today, Steve. Thank you.
That's very gracious. Thanks, David.